All right, guys, welcome to our noon Zoom for home business entrepreneurs, network marketers. This is a space that Dr. Doug Firebaugh hosts for you guys on Fridays, where we get to give you free training. So outside of Doug's paid membership area where he does trainings on Mondays and Wednesdays, he opens up Fridays for all of us to be able to invite our teams, invite our friends, invite anybody you know who you know could use some wisdom, some training in network marketing. We come in here and everybody collaborates. This is a mastermind. We all share wisdom and information. We do a little bit of training first, and then we go around for as long as we can till the top of the hour to collect from people their feedback, their takeaways from it, anything they get to add. So if you have a chance right now, I suggest you go out to your social media, just quickly post, hey, I'm on the noon Zoom right now, noonzoom.com, come and join us. Take a picture of the screen right now if you need to, but however you can share, or invite some friends, post in your team groups if you have. You don't want to miss out on this. For those of you who maybe haven't yet learned from Dr. Doug is one of the most sought after mentors and speakers in this profession. He's done over $1 billion in volume when he was involved in the industry. And he has coached over 52 millionaires in the profession when they started coaching with you, Doug, as he points to Alan, who also industry expert, Mr. 90,000 Alan, Doug calls him, because he's got 90,000 auto ships underneath him in his organization. So we get to hear from
that.
We get that double anointing when they're together. So I'm really excited about what's about to happen. So I'm just gonna every time I go, I'm just gonna go to the doubles and ask them what they want to contribute. Today we're gonna be expanding a bit. Last week we talked about building your belief in your confidence. And there was a section in that actually where Paul had mentioned a 3-step goal setting process. And I thought, let's be practical today. Let's go through, what does that actually look like? Sometimes goals can be intimidating. Sometimes setting them, you can say, I want to get to X rank, or I want to get to X income, but what does it actually look like to break that down? So when Paul shared those 3 steps, I thought, let's go deeper into that and let's expand on it. So I'm going to go into screen share here. You guys are going to be wowed here. My first slide has video. Look at this, guys. I know. So we're talking about the 3-step goal planning for success. So we're going to learn how to set and achieve our goals in a really just a way that you're going to understand, a way that's going to break it down for you. And this is how people create success in the network marketing industry. I'm just going to minimize us here, actually move us over because it's in my way. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go through the first couple of slides. What it is it goes over what achievable goals are, and then it'll go into some tips for it. And then I'd like to kind of bounce back with Doug and Alan after each step and get their thoughts and additions to what we're sharing here. So step 1 is achievable goals. And we talked about this last week as well. So what is an achievable goal? What is it going to do for you? It's where you become very specific and clear about what your next actions are. What is it right now that not only can you do, but have to do? Where do you have to get to right now? What is the income goal that you need to get to? And set it to be something realistic, but challenging, right? You don't want it. This isn't permission to play small. We still want to be playing big, but what is a little bit challenging for you? How can you push yourself a little bit? What is a realistic goal that you can get to? Set a time frame for it. Your confidence builds with these small wins. So maybe your first target goal is just your next rank, and that's huge. Celebrate that when you hit it. It keeps you motivated and disciplined when you set achievable goals, because you're moving towards something that you can accomplish, right? You're moving towards something that you can see that's not too far away from you, but you can feel like you've achieved something when you get there. So it will keep you motivated. It will keep you disciplined. These are the goals where when you wake up and you have a DMO, like we talk about 5 over 5 with Dr. Doug, where he's shared that in trainings and we've elaborated on that in here. When you're doing your 5 over 5 and you hit these achievable goals, you get excited, right? And that's what keeps you disciplined. That's where you say, okay, next week, rinse and repeat. I'm doing it again. And it starts your track record to success. So no matter if you're watching this on the replay and maybe you're brand new, or maybe you're live here and you're like, okay, I've already hit a certain target. I've already hit an achievable goal, but how can I get to the next one? So you can start over. I love this time of year for goals. I really do. I think I said it last week, where I feel like this is the new year, because this is, when everybody seems to start fresh, right now. We don't want to wait until January to decide that this is when we start. We start now. What does your entire rest of the next 12 months look like? So how can you set achievable goals? You start small, make them manageable. So you want to be able to do things. When we say the 5/5, that is manageable. I think that's manageable for anybody on a daily basis, right? 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, you can slam out a 5/5. Define your what, why, and how. So what are you headed towards? Why are you headed there? And how are you going to achieve it? So make sure you understand if it's a rank, go into your back office and take a look at what that actually looks like to hit it. What does your volume need to be? How many distributors do you need to have? Really understand that and break that down. Set deadlines to create a sense of urgency. If you just say you're going to hit a rank and you don't set a time when, it may be, you're telling your mind it may be a year from now, maybe 2 years from now. Set a deadline so that you have that urgency to go after it. Divide each goal into small tasks. So know exactly, reverse engineer how you're going to get to that rank, how you're going to get to that income. If you don't know how to break down your compensation plan, reach out to your sponsor or upline who can break that down for you. Track your progress daily. I was talking to Doug last week. I am a pen and paper person. I am not one of these, okay, I'm going to go into my Excel sheet and type it all in. I am very practical that way, but whatever works for you. Some people keep everything in their phone, but make sure every single day you're tracking who did you talk to, where are they at in your pipeline, what did you do with them, what did you share with them, when was it shared with them, when is your follow-up set for? Keep track of everything. And then celebrate when that goal is achieved. It may just be your next rank, but celebrate. Doesn't need to be extravagant. You don't need to go out and have a massive, elaborate meal and take all your family out, but celebrate it. Maybe you take yourself or your family out for ice cream after dinner one night and say, hey guys, I hit a goal. I want to celebrate. Let's all celebrate together. So Dr. Doug and Alan, I'd love to hear from you guys on achievable goals, on this breakdown, and your absolute wisdom on what people need to do to set those.
Great information, Angel. So the biggest, and this is so powerful because when you're able to break them down into small tasks, the key is this: what are your income producing activities? So many people get distracted in today's world by social media, but the simple thing is this business is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And the simpler you keep it, and you're able to teach people what those income producing activities are, those daily progress. See, I have a daily report card. And then go over it weekly, like each day, what are my goals and what am I going to accomplish? And so what are the income producing activities? What do you want to accomplish each day? You see, connecting with people is number one. You got to connect with new people every day. You know, if you connect with 2 a day and keep 10 in play, 2 new people each day and keep 10 at the top of your pipeline, 2 a day, 10 in play, connect with people, and then invite. How many people am I going to connect with today? And how many people am I going to invite to take a look at the opportunity or the products? How many am I going to connect with? How many am I going to invite? How many am I going to share a tool with? And you see, that's important because if you're telling, you're selling, if you're sharing, you're caring. Share a tool. Your company has tools for you to use. And that's what you want. Because, and let me tell you why that's so important. You see, this business, I said simple. See, if I tell people all the time, if you can share a tool, if you can share a link, you can build a massive business. But if you think you've got to be the talker, the one who tells everything, people below you, your downline, the ones who you need. See, you don't need, when you talk about 90,000 auto ships, see, I can't reach but so many people a day. But if I've got 100 people out there reaching 10 people a day, that's 1,000 a day we're reaching. And I don't have to reach them, but see, they've got to be able to duplicate that. So if they think they can't do what I do, then they're not going to do it. But they can share a link. So you're going to connect with people. You're going to invite them to take a look at a tool. You're going to share a tool with them. You're going to follow up, get them started, and then duplicate. It's a simple 6 steps each day. Connect with, and I don't mean I made a new friend on social media. Connect with 2 a day and keep 10 people you're working with in play, and you can build a massive business.
I think the first words say it all: start, define, set, divide, track, and celebrate. Those 6 words, I think, are one of the most powerful 6 words. It's actually a step-by-step, because when you say start, define, set, divide, track, celebrate, that right there is a stepping stone to greatness and a stepping stone to something that probably would be surprising if you just followed those 6 words. I love this, Angel. Great job.
Ah, that was awesome that you picked that out. That was perfect. And I love the daily report card, Alan. I think that's, it puts in my mind, if I'm not just tracking my progress, I'm keep grading myself, right? What does my report card look like every single day? And if I'm failing, if I've got a big fat F on there, then I'm not doing so well. So I love that. All right. So then the step 2, guys, target goals. So now you've set your achievable goals. You have that laid out. You have what it looks like. You know the steps. I love what Alan said, 2 a day, 10 in play. Keep that in your mindset. Write that down on the sheet that you've created for those goals. And then step 2 is your target goals. So you're going to start to aim higher than your achievable goals. What is a target? So you're thinking now you're going from like a 90-day to a 180-day. What does a 6-month goal look like for you? These are the milestones that drive your network marketing business forward. They're more challenging. So you're going to push yourself a little bit further. You get a little bit out of that comfort zone. They align with your long-term vision. So we're going to get into that when we talk about the next step. But what does that long-term look like? If you're going to hit those achievable goals, you don't want to stop and just set some more achievable goals. After you've hit those goals, what is your long-term vision? They're still realistic. So they're not making you go, whoa, I'm jumping from rank 1 to rank 10. They're still realistic, but with a dedicated effort. And they push you out of that comfort zone. It gives you purpose and direction. So as you're celebrating those wins in achievable goals, and now you're thinking ahead to target goals, you're like, yeah, because once I hit those achievable goals, boy, it's going to feel good to get into that next goal. So it gives you that purpose. You get excited about it. And it cultivates perseverance and determination within you. So it's setting your mindset for the long term. Setting achievable goals are great because they're what's going to make you feel good when you hit them. But this actually sets you for, okay, I'm going to stick with this. We know that network marketing success doesn't happen overnight, no matter what you've seen or heard. It doesn't. You need to have that long-term mindset. You need to commit. When I talk to my team members and when I talk to new people, I ask that question, are you committed for at least 12 months? Because you have to be. If you're committed for 12 months, I can work for you. But if this is didn't make money in the first week, I'm out, then there's no point because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment and failure, right? So how do you set target goals? Set goals that contribute to your long-term success. So you're going to figure out right now, okay, so if I'm in between achievable and I'm in between the next one, which is going to be big goals, if I'm in between there, what is going to set me up for success? What is that income level that I could hit where I'm starting to go, I'm making some good money. This is feeling great. I'm able to do some extra things. I'm able to maybe go on a trip this year. I'm able to, maybe spend some money in places, or maybe I'm paying off some debt. What does that feel like? Make sure they also align with your vision. So we always say, we've done training on writing out your vision, and I'm sure everybody here knows what that vision is and has it clear. The whole visualization of where you're going, but make sure target goals also align with that and stretch your limits. Embrace challenges and growth opportunities. So with target goals, they're going to be harder. You're going to fail more. You're going to find it way more challenging, but make sure that you're embracing those challenges because that's what's going to get you. We talk about that all the time. You're just jumping that hurdle to the next step, right? You're just getting to that next place. Maybe you need to blast through that hurdle. Maybe instead of going over it, you got to go under it, but you got to figure it out and embrace that challenge. Prioritize only a few key target goals at a time. So don't be like, okay, I'm going to do this big thing and this big thing, and then I'm going to hit this rank, and then I'm going to go on this trip, and then I'm going to be making this money, and set them so that there's just a few that you're working on at a time, and stay adaptable. You cannot foresee the future. If you have not achieved this goal ever before, you may not know what it actually looks like and takes to get there. So just be adaptable to the fact that something may come up that you didn't expect when you were setting this goal. Something may come up that wasn't in your plan when you reverse engineered how to get there. You're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. I didn't know this was a part of it. Stay adaptable, adjust as the circumstances change. Things may change in your team, things may change in your company, and you just have to embrace that. And then seek support from your upline and mentors. This is where now with your target goals, your achievable goals are great, but with target, you need somebody directing you. You need somebody that can hold your hand, especially somebody that's been there and got that, or can coach you to get there. You need to, that's when you lock arms with people like that. So I will pass it over to our double wisdom portion, Dr. Doug and Alan, for our target goals.
Go first. I get to go first again. So he's letting me do that. So I'm pointing when you're talking about finding mentors and people who have done it before, Doug absolutely has. And so I love what you're talking about with set goals, stretch your limits, prioritize, stay adaptable, because things change. This industry changes. The world changes. When COVID hit, wow, you had to be able to adapt. And many of us did, and many of our businesses absolutely skyrocketed, and other people failed and left the industry. So I want to tell a quick story, and I was sitting here debating on which story to tell, because I'm from North Carolina, and I think about the Biltmore House. And if any of you know the Biltmore House, it's one of the largest mansions in the world, and it's built in Asheville, North Carolina, in the mountains. And when Biltmore decided to build this home, people thought he was crazy. They're like, there's no way you can't. I mean, how can you can't? And so he bought all the property. But listen, as he started moving, he visualized his goal and he was determined to get there. So he set his goal that people thought was unachievable. Let me tell you what the stretch in your limits was. So in order to get the brick, there were no trucks then. There were no trains there. He built a train track to come and bring him material. He built the brick plant to manufacture the brick in Asheville, North Carolina. Yep. Oh, by the way, there were only 800 people living in Asheville, North Carolina when he said, this is where I'm going to build one of the largest mansions in the world. So what did he do? He hired people and built the town to have the people. See, what we're doing is we're building our following. We're building our group of people. We're bringing the people to us who can help us achieve our goal. So he said, I got to build a brick plant here to make bricks. So I need brick masons. So he brought brick masons in from all over to come and live in Asheville, North Carolina. And he had horse and buggies bringing stuff up the mountains and cutting trails and lining. Well, wait a minute. Well, how are you going to do this? Well, I'll do this. So each step along the way, when you're talking about stretching your limits, can you imagine being in a town of 800 people going, I'm going to build one of the largest mansions in the world right here. People looking at you going, wait, what you're going to do what? Yeah, I'm going to, And so he had to prioritize what it takes so the first thing he had to do when you're talking about prioritizing is he had to visualize it. Visualize it. And it was a goal that people thought, you're talking about big scary. It wasn't big scary to him, but everybody else thought the guy was nuts. There's no way. Well, yeah, because I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And so he had to bring a team of people together, move them into his community, network with people, and find people to do what he had to do. And he had to stay adaptable along the way, because guess what? He had to bring loggers in to clear the trees, to get to the mountain, to build the trail for the horse and buggy to come up. So each step along the way, he was adaptable and adapted to whatever he had to adapt to. And then guess what? He was an entrepreneur in the dairy and farming industry. He knew nothing about architecture. He knew nothing about bricks. He knew nothing about foundations. He knew nothing about landscaping. He knew nothing about gardening. He's got one of the most amazing gardens up there. So what did he do? He sought the support of mentors and people. He found the people that could do what create his vision was. So if Biltmore can do what he did, we're talking about in the 1800s. We're not talking about in 1995. We're talking about in the 1800s, when there had never been a place built like that anywhere in the United States. And if you compare that, that's absolutely amazing. But when you compare that to the people that were going out west seeking gold and seeking riches, and there's gold out there, along the way, people gave up on their goals and they stopped. And do you know what they called those people? Settlers. Settlers. These are settlers. They settled in this community. Because why did they settle? Because they settled for where they were. They didn't feel like the goal was big enough. They didn't feel like they could achieve the goal. So along the path from the East Coast to the riches in the diamond mines and the gold mines out west, go west, my friend. There's millions. Everybody loaded up. It's easy to load up your wagon and your horses and your family and everything and head out on a trail. But along the way, people gave up and they became settlers. Be a Biltmore, don't be a settler.
It's kind of interesting that the name is Biltmore.
Yeah.
because he built more, bigger, stronger, more powerful. I bet you that place had at least 4 bathrooms.
Oh, 400 maybe.
400. The 3 most important words to me is stretch your limits. Many times we have a tendency to be happy with our limits, to be happy where they are. And I believe that everybody has, I used to do a radio show called The Millionaire Road. Angel, as a matter of fact, it was on it, I don't know, probably 100 times. And it ended up, there's a millionaire inside of you. You decide who wins. And you may hear that, that's a loud boat.
That's a loud boat. Yep.
Wow. Anyway, there's a millionaire inside of you. You decide who wins. I believe that the greatest thing you can do is force yourself to stretch your limits, because generally speaking, the limits that you have in you didn't come from you. The majority of those were put in you by other people, by other ideas, by other input, by other conversations. And your job is to not only stretch your limits, but get rid of them altogether. Because the more that you stretch them, the more they're going to break. And when you break your limits and become limitless at that particular point, there's nothing that you can't do. Back to you, Angel.
Limitless.
Limitless.
That's a good word.
Great movie.
Yeah, limitless.
I haven't seen it. I have to see that. You know what that reminds me of, Dr. Doug, is how many times you've done trainings or even on the Millionaire Road where you talk about who sold you on that.
Yep.
And I would hear those words all the time when I would start to have negative talk or start to listen to the limiting beliefs that I grew up with, or start to say I can't, or this is why. It was like, who sold you on that? And I could hear your voice every single time saying it, but I was like, no kidding. Who sold me on that? That's not me. Like, why am I letting somebody else's opinion of what my life can be even slightly define what is capable in my life? So definitely put those words in your head, guys, and hear Dr. Doug asking you that. Say it once, Dr. Doug, so everybody can hear.
Who in the world sold you on that? Come on.
There's some people on this call right now that we're questioning, have some questions about that right now. And you and I were discussing that. Yeah. Great point, Angel. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Because see, that can go 2 ways. That can go 2 ways. See, and I'm sorry, but see, God, you have visions and goals and dreams in your mind that God plants there. He plants them there because he wants you to achieve them. But sometimes the human people distract you by selling you on something that you shouldn't be sold on.
So true.
So true. And so when you say, who sold you on that? Oh, that's what God has in store for me. And then sometimes you go, like you said, who sold you on that?
Yeah, it's not by accident, right? God doesn't put dreams in you by accident. You don't have these aspirations by accident. It's not just some fluke that all of a sudden this idea or this opportunity popped into your head, or you're presented with an opportunity, or you're feeling something more for life that maybe you didn't live in and maybe nobody in your family has done. That is God in you moving you forward. I don't know, raise of hands. I think you guys need to go on the road, the 2 of you, because I am loving this. So I will come. I will be, what do they call them? Your not a roadie. What are they? The people that follow them, or groupie. I'll be a group.
You'd be our wing girl. Trust me. You'd be the wing girl. You'd be rocking right there with us. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
you would be driving. Yeah. We'd just be hanging out with you, Angel.
Yeah, this is Angel's world. We'd just be a part of it.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. I like that. So step 3 is where it gets fun, because this is where we all want to go. This is where we have the passion. This is where, when we start to think about this one, we get excited. Because you know what? It's just exactly what we were talking about now. It's outside of what feels possible right now. Big goals are, oh my gosh, right now, I know I probably couldn't have this right now because of where I'm at, but what would it feel like to get there? What would I want to get to? Because once I hit achievable, once I hit target, the exciting thing is big is right outside that. So if you can take those steps, step 1 and 2, and get to that point, and now you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I get to head to my big goals now. Because you have to hit 1 and 2 to get to 3. There's no way to jump from 0 to 3. You have to go through those first two. And so as you see yourself progressing towards that, these big goals get even more exciting because you're like, I'm one step closer. I'm getting there. So start dreaming big. Don't live within the limits that we were just talking about. Become limitless. Become, what would your ideal life look like? What would it actually look like when you have hit that top rank or the rank you want to get to? What does that life look like? How are you living? What does your day look like? What does your family look like? What are you doing with your family? Where are you spending your time? How does your day look from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed? What is your life like? Start dreaming big. Ultimate aspirations in network marketing. This is where you're like, okay, if I hit the top thing I can possibly do, what does that look like in my business? They're ambitious and inspiring. You're going to inspire others, but also they're a little scary, right? They're those things that make you go, I can't do that. And then you go, who sold you on that? Because you absolutely can. They require a longer time frame, obviously. So now we're stretching to the 12 months, maybe the 18 months, maybe the 2 years, 3 years. What is this big goal completion time for you? They're achievable with long-term dedication, right? You know that if you stick with it and you do it every single day, you're going to get there. They fuel that passion and excitement. A lot of times when we come into network marketing, our mind is in big goals. A lot of times we're sold on the big goals, right? We're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. I know myself, the ceiling for my life blew off when I got introduced to network marketing and when I really started researching the profession, because at first I didn't want to be a network marketer until I started seeing a life of possibilities way beyond my dreams and just amazing people that I related with. And this is where you create a legacy. We talk about legacy. I want to create a legacy. Do you even know what that looks like? What does a legacy look like for you? Have you even decided what your legacy is? Have you decided what you're leaving for your family or how people are going to talk about you? We lost one of the top network marketing people, Jessie Lee Ward, in this last week. Look at her legacy. Look at all of the people that sent videos. Look at all of this training that's out there, all of this content she put out, everybody who's still aspiring to make her proud, people talking about her nonstop all week. That's a legacy. You know, that is what she left behind because she lived life all out, going after big goals no matter what. That girl was nose to the grind, getting there no matter which way she had to go, up, under, through, around, whatever. She did it. So how do you set those big goals? How do you become that person in that mindset that says, yes, you can? Visualize your success daily. Feel those emotions. We've talked about this many times. Feel the emotion of getting there. Feel the excitement of getting there. Believe that you can, because we're telling you can. Borrow our belief, borrow the wisdom that you get here, and just know that you can. Break them into phases and quarters. Right? So like I said, it might be a 12 months. So if now you've got your 90-day and then 180-day, what do the other 180 days look like? Break those into 2 90-day sections. Break it into, what does the next 6 months after that look like? And then stay committed, no other possible outcome. And that's from Dr. Doug himself as well. There is no other possible outcome for your life other than these big goals that you're going to set, and just believe that. There's going to be people that tell you you're crazy when you talk about these goals, but in your mind, you have to say no, because guess what? I've got a mastermind that I attend every single Friday where they tell me it's possible. I have a mastermind I attend every single Friday where they pour into me into these big goals. And when I talk about these big goals, they don't tell me I'm crazy. They say, yes, we're behind you. Go, go, go. Share your goals with your upline and your mentor. So as crazy as they seem, they're not going to seem crazy to your upline or your mentor. Absolutely share them with them. That sets accountability. You know, Doug knows where I want to go and he supports me in that, and he guides me through that, and he corrects me when I make a wrong turn. Absolutely let them know what your big goals are. Be passionate about it. How can you not be passionate about a big goal? If you have no passion behind that goal, you got to change your goal because it's not your big goal. Include your family. I love to include my kids. You know, there was a period of time where I was like, do I hold it back from them because I don't want to set expectations and then not hit them and leave it in disappointment? But instead, including your family in all of these goal setting. You know, ask them, if I hit this, what would you like to do? What kind of things would you like to do? If mom could hit this, where would we be living? What would we be doing? What would life look like? My son wants to go to Legoland. That's his like ultimate thing, a whole week at Legoland. That's all he wants to do. And I'm like, no problem. We'll do that for sure. And then celebrate milestones. not just the success. So these big goals, you don't want to wait to celebrate until you get there. Of course, you're celebrating your achievable and your target goals, but there's going to be milestones to these big goals. You know, if maybe your goal is to move somewhere and live a certain type of life. Well, if you move there and maybe you're not living the life yet that you want to live, but you've made that step to get there, celebrate that. That's one step closer to your vision and to your big dreams. So I'm going to pass it back to you guys on big goals, because you guys are big goals. You are the epitome of big goals. Your life is big goals. So I can't wait to hear from you guys on this.
Yeah, great information, Angel. It's amazing. And I think, you know, when you say visualize the success daily, you see, you have to. So think about this. When you think about what the perfect upline is, the perfect leader in your company, what is that perfect person? Who would you love to have as your upline, as your mentor, as your trainer? Visualize yourself as that person. Become that person. You see, that's so important. So important. Daily, you know, we talked last week, Angel, about the things you say to yourself and self-talk. Self-talk. So the first person and the only person that you have to convince that you're going to achieve that goal is the person you see in the mirror each and every day. So visualize that. I have notes on my mirror. I have notes on my phone. I have reminders. I have things that pop up. We were talking about that last week when we did a training about the things that I read to myself every day. And then so when you share your goals with your upline, your mentor, that's what you're doing. You're making yourself accountable. You're saying to them, I'm going to achieve this. And you got to put a date on it. You see, a dream is a dream, but a dream with a date becomes a goal. You have to put a date that you're going to do it. Be passionate, and including your family is so important, and celebrating your successes along the way. Because listen, the success is in the journey, not the destination.
Amen.
Each and every day is a success. Each and every day we've been given an opportunity to change lives all over the world. If you got a big giant goal, and what I love about the direct sales, network marketing, MLM, affiliate marketing, whatever you want, everybody's trying to change names of this business. You know, it is basically an opportunity to, and I love what, you know, everybody's heard this. In order to achieve that big goal, all you got to do is help enough other people reach their goals.
Amen.
That's what this industry is. That's what this business is. And when you can help enough people, and that's your family, that's your sideline, your downline, your up, everybody, it's a team sport here. So visualize it every single day. Tell yourself every single day, I deserve this. God's put this. Think about David and Goliath. And everybody heard the story of David and Goliath. But see, when David showed up, that 12-year-old boy, and they talked about the size of Goliath and how he was just this massive man. And David showed up to bring sandwiches. That's what he was there, bringing lunch.
David's catering services.
Yeah. And so they're like, the dude over there, you know, that one over there. And he's like, and here's what the part that people have a tendency to forget telling a story. So David says, so wait a minute now. If I kill him, what do I get?
The king's daughter.
The king's daughter. And I get this ransom, and I get this, and I get, hey, I'm all in. You see, when you got a calling, you drop the C and G, and it says all in, calling, all in. And so David didn't say, oh yeah, he walked up, and the guy was embarrassed. Goliath was like, what are you, come on, this kid? Yeah, you're embarrassing me. And what did David say? Listen, you might be big, you might be tough, but I've got a God behind me. And the dude reached in his pocket and pulled out a slingshot and a rock. Can you imagine what Goliath was thinking? Can you imagine, listen to this. Can you imagine what his brothers were thinking behind him? What the army was thinking? They're standing there watching this 12-year-old kid, and they're going, he's lost his mind. He is out of it. He's fixing to be. And he said all he had was a slingshot and a rock, but he said, I'm going to cut your head off. He didn't have a sword. He didn't have the tools needed. But he went forward with passion, and he believed in it, and he was passionate about it. And he just said, this is worth it. And then he was able to celebrate.
Amen. One thing about David and Goliath, he didn't walk towards his goal, he ran towards it. I think that's one of the most singular important aspects of it, because when you really have faith in what you're doing, when you really have faith in setting big goals, big, fat, hairy, audacious goals, as we used to call them, you're going to run towards it. You're not going to walk. You're not going to trot. I mean, literally, he was running full speed at the same time, whipping out that, getting ready to sling the rock, and sword in the other hand. And that's called faith. And when you have to set big goals and really truly stretch yourself out of that comfort zone into, oh my gosh, how is that going to happen? Well, David knew it wasn't going to be him because the Holy Spirit took over. That was it. He knew that the Holy Spirit accuracy was right between the eyes. So this is why that with your goals, run towards them. Don't just meander towards them or maybe walk towards, run towards the goals, because running is going to give you momentum. It's going to give you emotional aspect, as well as it's going to build your belief with each step you take. Because as you run towards something that you see as a Goliath, the closer you get to it, the smaller it becomes. Back to you, Angel.
I love that. I love David. David's one of my favorites. My dad's name was David and he was a David. But it made me think, when you guys are talking about David and Goliath, when we come into network marketing, especially if you're new to it, if you're new to what this world is like, you become a David and the naysayers become the Goliath. And you've got to learn how to pull out your slingshot all the time and fire at them. The negative thoughts, the people that are going to tell you can't, people that are going to say, why are you in that thing? Oh my gosh, I know so-and-so who failed at that. Oh, wow, I can't believe you're in another one of those. Slingshot, 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 right? You're just firing off because you are the David. Because if you're going to go to these big goals, you have to knock down that Goliath to get there. So I loved that. And I loved, Alan, also when you said you only have to convince yourself. You only have to convince yourself. And we said it last time with you only have to look at the person in the mirror, right? But I thought to myself, there's so many of my big goals that nobody's heard come out of my mouth except for God. And we sit there and we laugh, and I have conversations with him, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I hit this, and I can't wait until I do this. And he's like, yeah, go. So that's okay, because you only have to convince yourself. And when you have God and his wind at your back pushing you and saying, yes, you can, that's the only voice you need to listen to. That's the only thing you need to fire you forward. So we're going to stop the share here and go around to everybody today. That was awesome, guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Doug and Alan, for being here with me and sharing on this training today. I think it's huge. And again, it's things that we know we have to do, but what does the breakdown look like? And I think the breakdown is what is going to help you to get there. Because if you don't know how to set goals, if you don't know how to break them down, if you don't know what each step looks like, it becomes so daunting that it puts you into paralyzation, right? You procrastinate. If you don't have these specific steps down, you won't do it, right? Next week, we talk about this too. Next week, next year, next month, whatever. You always are pushing it off. So Mary Kay, what's your takeaway today?
Oh, there's so much. I mean, I just love listening to the three of you go over it and hearing it in different ways that you say it. I'm just going to make it real short because you have much more to say than I do. But at the end, run towards your goal. And I want to put that into my nursing perspective. When I would give injections, especially to the little ones, I would give it fast, because fast is easy, slow is hard. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, and when you can put that practical into it, right? You already know this, right? That's awesome. We have Miss Whitney here with us today. Hello, Whitney. How are you?
Hello, my friends. Good. I am so happy that I'm part of this group. I love you guys so much.
Oh, I love you. Do you have a takeaway today? It's so good I haven't seen your face for a while.
Let me find it. Hold on.
Here you are.
We joke about 17 and a half kids, but I'm watching two of my, I guess they're cousins, and they're also under 7. So I got 7 under 7 today.
Wow.
But yeah, so good. I love what you had to say about goals and really making it clear and then chunking it down. Like the way you broke it down today, just, I don't know, spoke to a different part of me than usual. Like it just was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's like we hear these things you might like if someone would have saw maybe the title to this talk, right? But like, oh, I've heard plenty of things about setting goals. I set goals, but don't ever like don't come because of that, because there's so many extra little pieces of gold. I took screenshots of all of them. I'm a little bit distracted today, so I'm looking forward to really like going and breaking it down some more specifically for myself. But yeah, I was nodding my head the whole time, being like, yeah, that's right, that's right. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Oh, there's nothing better than the sound of kids in the background. I love that. I miss that. And you're just like, you're such a like just a blessing in your home and just the way like you're just such a good mom, Whitney. You're incredible. No, you're amazing. Queen AI, what is your takeaway for today? Oh, maybe she can't unmute. I'll come back. Hey, Denise, how are you? Oh, there you are.
That I am almost like I got a little distracted with something. But I've been listening, and you know what I like about this training today, just to compliment you and the gentleman, is I'm very particular about bullet point training. I don't want any fluff. I want you to tell me the steps, and I really enjoyed that today, and I can take that away to share with my team, because I just did a Facebook Live on like being very aggressive with your goals and how we have to be aggressive in order to accomplish and take care of the other things in our lives that are keeping us from our goals, which might be worry or hesitation. And so I really appreciated what y'all said today, because it kind of reinforced what I was feeling already today.
That's awesome. And you made me think too, there's a lot of times where what we're using as excuses to not be aggressive towards our goals are exactly the things that we want to solve with our goals. So if that's how we're solving them, we need to be more aggressive to our goals, right? We need to lean more into that side than we are into the excuses of why we can't. So thank you so much. Denise, how are you doing?
I am good, thanks. That was fabulous. And I've been away for probably a month, and I'm so happy to hop back in here because you all three of you are magnificent. And I loved what Whitney said about how you may have seen the title goals and thought, oh, yeah, I already know that. I find that it's really interesting how everything that I think I already know, I don't know, or it's always worth repeating because maybe there's a tidbit in there that you weren't ready to hear before. Or maybe you've done it before and somehow you fell off the train and you didn't realize until you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, that. So the two things that really spoke to me, one was running toward your goals, not walking or jogging. And I think of an airplane taking off, right? If you don't put the pedal to the metal, you get to the end of the runway, you're not going really very far. So I liked that. And then the celebrating the milestones. I forget that sometimes. Like I get caught up in what I need to do and I forget to do that. And somehow you get more tired, right? Because it's more powerful to pause for a minute and say, wow, look at that. Look how far I've come. Look at what I just did. Yeah. Great job.
I love that. And celebrating tells your mind that this feels good, right?
Yeah.
So it feels good. So keep doing that. Oh, I'll keep doing that. I like it.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you. Michelle, are you able to unmute today and share your takeaway?
Yes. Hey, my takeaway is I'm realizing some of the things that maybe are holding me back. And I feel like I really don't understand the whole structure of network marketing like I should after doing this for 6 months. And I think that is holding me back, just not completely understanding everything. I don't know. It's kind of a light bulb moment for me. I have to work it out a little bit in my head and I'll run it past you and Peg and get me out of this. But I think that's something in there is holding me back of me just not completely understanding everything. And I need to get to the bottom of that and work it out in my head because I think it is holding me back. And I've never thought about it before until right now. And I'm not sure exactly what part of this made me think of it because once I started thinking that, I'm like kind of blacked out and bomb, bomb, bomb. It's just in my head. So I'm so glad I was here because I know working through some of the things maybe I don't understand will help me get to my next level
I
and my
love
next
hearing
goal.
that. I love that because you know what? We know we always use the term rock star, but we know how much of a rock star you are. I know what you're capable of. And so that's so great because now we know what to work on, right? To
Right.
get you now to setting these goals and hitting them, right? So that's
Right.
awesome. So we'll schedule a call for sure. So thank you for
Okay.
sharing. I love
Thank you.
vulnerability on these calls too, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, that's what it is.
Yes, yes. But I didn't know anything about network marketing before I started doing this. Not anything about it. And I just set these little, my 5 over 5 and work on that. But there's, I probably do need to understand things better to, I don't know. It's so weird how this just occurred to me. But
Well,
thank
that's
y'all
not
for letting
necessarily
me
a bad thing.
grow.
That's not a bad thing to not come in with a preconception and an idea that you do know what it is and all of that. That's absolutely not a bad thing. So we can. The great thing is knowing that now. Did Alan just spill all over himself?
He did. I didn't. Mine's good.
He gave me the one that he knew that the cap was messed up on.
Oh,
So he
I
kept
shook,
a good
I shook
cap.
his up before I gave it to him. Shook his water.
He set him up.
yeah, exactly. Oh no, I love that, Michelle. We can definitely get you there. So that's awesome.
Thank
Charmaine,
you.
what is your takeaway today?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Doug, Alan, and Angel. This has been a great training. And I have to say, I originally logged on to the other Zoom link because I saw the Dr. Doug. So I was like, I almost did what Whitney had said, oh, I saw, it was goals. However, I know that I will always learn something. Well, a lot of things. So along with what Denise had said, there are things that we may hear in the past, but it didn't resonate. It didn't penetrate. So it's something that I found here. It's like, oh, I know about visualizing my goals. Alan had said something about that. But the Biltmore story, someone who really had that vision. I have that vision too of helping tons of people. And I know I'm getting in my way, but visualizing it daily and tracking it daily, that's kind of where my area of improvement needs to be. And I think for the wins, I like that reinforcement. It's not that big win, it's the small wins that I know. I know the other day I was like, hey, I went in and talked to, and it does propel me forward. And so the areas that I know I need to improve on is that daily tracking, that daily standing in front of the mirror and speaking out loud, because I have them post my declarations affirmation posted and I speak it out loud. But when I leave, right, because I'd cleaned my car, I had taken those little post-its off and I thought, oh, you know what? I need to put them back because in the middle of the day, I've lost that traction. And then I get home and I go, oops. Or I've gotten a bunch of cards because I pulled tags or pulled cards from a bulletin board, community board, and oops, I've forgotten because I've lost that vision. So thank you. It is setting those goals, remembering what our vision is, and it in all three of the steps. It takes effort, it takes work, and it's me. It's me. So thank you for holding the space. I appreciate hearing all the words of wisdom. And David and Goliath, I got to get my slingshot out.
That's right. Well, and you know what? Sometimes a little bit of reverse psychology because I know your heart. And I know that all you want to do is help people. And that's the reason why you're here. And that's the reason why you're doing it. So when you don't call those numbers, when you don't call the numbers on the business cards, when you don't take the action, how many people are you not helping? How many people are you not affecting because you're not taking the action? Right. So it's almost like putting your mind, not, oh, I want to help people. How can I not help people? Today, if I don't do my work, I'm not helping people. Right. And what does that feel like? That let down of yourself, let down for them. Right. So sometimes we need to think of it that way, and that'll push us a little bit more. Donna, what is your takeaway for today? Maybe Donna can't unmute. I know she was at an appointment. Sandra, so great to have you here today. What is your takeaway, my dear?
Hi. There's so many, so many. And it kind of, this training was so awesome, and I appreciate it so much. And I feel like, you brought up Jessie Lee. Just the other day, I watched another training by her that synced so much with this. She talked about, first of all, what you just said to Charmaine about telling yourself that you're not helping enough people, like convincing yourself of that. She said that's what got her starting to build when her upline said, there's more people like you not getting the results you're getting because you're not sharing it. And she said that was like the biggest aha moment of her career, because she felt guilty not sharing. So that was a good one. And the same thing with the sticky notes. She said the same thing in that training, that you need the sticky notes because it's a reminder all the time. And I feel like I've honed in on my vision, but I still feel like I'm walking in quicksand. So today was a good one, because if I break it down into little tasks and then make myself a report card every day, and then every week, it'll kind of pull me up out of the quicksand, because I'll take it one task at a time instead of being so overwhelmed by the whole day or the whole week or the whole month. So this was great to breaking it down. And I really appreciate this training.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, by human nature, it's who we are. We need these steps, right? Like we're creatures of habit, and habit means doing the things that are going to get us through these steps as well. So that was great. Sandra, thank you. Peg, are you able to unmute? I know you might be working and listening. There you are.
Angel. I'm working from home now. So I just want to say this was such an incredible training, and it's so incredible to me too how like I love the last part. I love hearing everyone else's perspective and reflection, and like what Sandra just shared about Jessie Lee and Charmaine, what and Angel, what you shared with her about like how many people you're not helping if you pull those cards off. And you're almost like, it's almost like you're taking those cards off a bulletin board and someone else can't have it, but you've got it. Like you've got that person's life preserver in your hand, right? So that is such a good perspective. And I have to say, I've got several people in our organization that are on this call, and that's my number one goal. My step one goal is looking for 10 people that want this, that are willing to show up for themselves the way that I am. And then my step two goal is helping those 10 people get to the rank that I'm currently trying to get to, right? And then my step three is helping 100 people get to that rank. And with all of those, there is a reward for myself, right? There's number one, there's the rank. Number two, there's living in a place that I would ideally love to live in. And then number three is building a dream home in that place. So, there's all these things. And I think it's so valuable because we need, like you said, we're human, our nature is we need these steps, we need breadcrumbs. Because if you tell someone who's just trying to pay their electric bill, you can make $1 million here, they're going to be like, see ya, because I can't, right? So I think, it's so valuable to have those steps, and really helpful to me. So thank you so much for this.
That is such a good point right there, because and I'm sure we all have had situations in our life. Like I had so many people try to sell me on $1,000 coaching courses back when I was first starting. It's like, do you understand even why I'm doing this? Like, I'm not here to spend thousands of dollars on coaching. I just want to get a few $100s a month. Like it was just, yeah, understand your audience. And I love those goals, Peg, and you are on your way there. So that's awesome. Arliss, are you able to unmute and share your takeaway today? Maybe not. Amanda D, I know you're always with your little one, but if you can unmute and share a takeaway today, go ahead. No microphone for Arliss. Well, it's great to have you here, Arliss. All right. So I will let you guys give your final thoughts today, Alan and Dr. Doug. This has been awesome. And I think it's just, for all of us. I get takeaways all the time. Like I love the thought of David and Goliath. I've never thought of it that way. So I'm really going to be picturing every single day that way. So yeah, so that was huge for me, but I'll let you guys wrap it up here.
So I do have, if anybody wants me to send that to them, you can get with me or send me a message or to Doug or somebody. I have a daily report card that I use, and it tallies up what you're going to do each day. It's just Monday through Sunday. And so if you want to see that, it's real simple and it's easy to keep up with. You can, and feel free to modify it, change it, share it, give it to anybody you want. So just reach out and we'll get that to you. Number one. Number two is this is truly understand this, that this business is, you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. And you've got these goals in your mind. You've got these visions in your mind that God planted there for you. And you were born, just like all of us, with greatness within you, with the opportunity, with the ability, with the talents to achieve success. I promise you. Every day when you get in the mirror, you believe in yourself, because that's the only thing holding any one of us back. Because I've been there. I know how it is. And believe in yourself, believe in the opportunity. This business is not like any other business in the world. I always say it doesn't matter whether you're from Yale or jail. Anybody can achieve success in this industry. So believe in yourself and and go after your goals and run towards them with a passion and with belief, and you will have success. Don't you like that? Yale or jail?
Does that mean that we have to go to jail first?
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to be.
You don't have to go to Yale.
No,
but you can go to
anybody
jail
in between
or be in Yale.
Yeah,
and that'll make you Yale.
That's right. That'll make you Yale. Yeah, absolutely.
The question is, what are you going to do this weekend? It's kind of like common sense that when you look at it from that standpoint, you can learn all you want, but this is what I encourage everybody to do. Set one audacious goal for the weekend. That's it. Nothing bigger, nothing smaller, but something that will challenge you, stretch you, something. And between now and Sunday night, whatever that is, stretch yourself to prove that you can challenge yourself and you can pull it across the finish line. Because the most important thing you can do, just like David and Goliath, he forced himself to get in that situation so that he could get the goods of the king's daughter. And there were other things that he was going to get as well. What are you going to do this weekend? One challenged goal. Set it, write it down, and then do whatever it takes to achieve it. And then notice how really, really, really special you feel after that. And it can be just working with your team and having 2 or 3 or 4 people do something extraordinary on your team as well. It doesn't have to be just you, but set something that's going to stretch you, and then stretch, really stretch, and then achieve it. Back to you, Miss Angel.
I love that. I wrote down mine. I know what it is. So thank you for that reminder to do that. And yes, this was so great today. It's so great to come together, have this mastermind. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you, Dr. Doug and Alan, for the way you pour into this community. And I hope you guys have fun together this weekend. And God bless everybody. Go out and just run after it. Run after those goals and just have that fire behind you. Take what you're feeling right now into the weekend, and we'll see you here next week. God bless, guys.
Bless you, Angel. Thanks, Doug.
Bless you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.